Welcome to Death Valley, dear.
Yep, made it to Death Valley. We're going to be here for, what, 3-4 days?
Yep, and it's only 100 degrees.
Right, so
it's mild.
yes, but there is a breeze.
That's true.
Still feels like a hairdryer.
That is true. I need that.
Yes.
This is Badwater Basin, the lowest point in the United States. So we're standing on what's known as the Devil's Golf Course. This is Golden Canyon Trail. We're now at the Harmony Borax Works. Well, today we're visiting the ghost town of Rhyolite. We are at the Wild Rose Charcoal Kilns. Zabriskie Point is supposed to be a great place to visit at sunrise and sunset.
We're currently at Dante's View.
Our final stop here in Death Valley is going to be Mesquite Dunes. Hi everybody, welcome to Zephyr Travels. I'm Randy.
And I'm Diane.
And this week we're in Death Valley. And it's going to be hot. The average temperature for May in Death Valley is over 100 degrees. And one thing we noticed is that as you change elevation, about every 1,000 feet, you change temperature by a degree. So the lower you go, the hotter it gets. The higher you go, the cooler it gets. We saw temperatures almost at 110 yesterday.
Actually, got up to 112.
112, yeah. So it is hot here. Today we're getting a very early start. It's just a little bit after 7 o'clock, and it happens to be a little bit of a cloud cover too.
And it's already warm.
It's already 80 degrees. So, but we're gonna go check out some of the sites, and we're gonna take you guys along with us. So let's get going.
Okay.
This is Badwater Basin, the lowest point in the United States, and also known to be the hottest place in the United States. Temperatures have been recorded here well over 130 degrees. Today it's not that hot. Not yet. It's early, but it's still at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's already about 95 degrees. So temperatures will get up there.
Water in there.
Yeah. Badwater.
Yeah.
Now we know how it got its name. This is all salt crystals, and it's because this is the lowest point, and everything drains to here, and it brings all the salt from all the other rocks down here, and this is where it tends to settle. That sign up there says sea level. That's 280 feet up the hill. Well, we've been to the lowest point in the U.S. Let's go play golf.
Okay.
All right, we'll go do that next. We're standing on what's known as the Devil's Golf Course. Think you could play golf on this?
I don't think so. we had to stop here and really for our brother-in-law Terry, who's an avid golf player.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think, Terry? Could you play here?
All right, Terry. This one's for you.
How do you hold it?
Just like that, just like you're playing putt-putt.
Oh. All right. What do you think, Terry?
Obviously, we don't play golf.
Obviously. I have no idea how even to hold it. But somebody left their golf club.
Yeah.
So.
This is Golden Canyon Trail, and the trail is about 4 miles long. We're not going to be doing this today. It's really already too late in the day to really start this trail. But there are a few people actually out here and doing it. Looks interesting. Maybe if we come back another time when the temperatures aren't going to be quite as hot, we might try this.
I guess we're going to walk a little way down.
What's that?
So this is as far as I go, no climbing. Although I'd like to see what's around there. Ooh.
So I guess the rest of the walk is, or quite a bit of the walk is like this. Just this flat wash.
Oh, okay.
But it's also right in the sun.
Yeah. Look at the colors on the rocks there.
Yeah.
The green and brown. Very pretty. Be sure you pay attention to this sign. It says stop, extreme heat danger. Walking after 10 a.m. not recommended. We're here at Golden Canyon. We're here before 10 a.m. and it's already 100 degrees. We only walked a little ways into the canyon. That's about all we can stand. So
Well, that, and once what we notice is that it's right out in the sun.
right.
And
Yeah.
so, you really need to be prepared for this.
Yes, you do. So yeah.
This would be a fun one to do because it doesn't look like it's very extreme. There's a little bit of climbing at the beginning,
Right.
but for the most part, it's not too bad.
So we'll have to come back, in
A different time of year.
a different time of the year.
(9:30 in the morning). 99 degrees.
In Death Valley.
In Death Valley, yep. We just visited the Furnace Creek Visitor Center, and we always recommend you stop at the Visitor Center, pick up a map, and check out places that you might want to go see while you're here. We're now at the Harmony Borax Works. I guess it's an interpretive trail. So sort of like a museum.
Yeah.
And borax was one of the most profitable minerals that was mined from the Death Valley. And this mine here was in operation from 1883 to 1888, only 5 years. And if you're of an age like we are, you probably remember 20 Mule Team Borax, which was like borax soap.
Yeah.
And this is where it came from. And this is where the name of it came from. The 20 Mule Team wagons pulled the borax out of the valley and out of Death Valley and to the market to be sold.
I think it was soap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And laundry detergent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The borax soap was what you used to clean your hands from grease and such.
Right.
Yeah, it was gritty.
Right. Yeah, well, my mom bought it.
Yeah?
Well, for my father.
Right. So that boiler and I don't know, tanks or whatever we saw out there, hoppers I guess, it was part of the processing. So because of the high cost of transportation, it made sense to process the borax here and extract it from the rocks. So that's what that operation did. See, we're learning stuff.
Right.
These are the 20 Mule Team wagons. So if you can imagine, in front of here, there'd be 10 rows of mules pulling this across the desert to get it to the railroad where it could be shipped. And like Diane and I were saying, the 20 Mule Team wagons and the mule teams were the symbol of borax for a number of years. You used to be able to buy 20 Mule Team borax soap, which was a hand soap, a dishwashing soap and such. Not dishwashing, clothes washing soap.
Laundry detergent.
Well, today we are visiting the ghost town of Rhyolite, Nevada. And it's just on the edge of Death Valley, so it's someplace you can come in and visit while you're at Death Valley. But this is interesting. This town was here because of a gold mine discovered, and it just blew up in a matter of 5 years. The town, in 1907, after being established for only 4 years, or actually 3 years, had a population of 5,000 to 8,000 people, 50 saloons it had, 35 gambling tables, 18 grocery stores. This town just, got massive, really. They started to have indoor plumbing. It looked like a very popular and growing town. And then just less than 5 years later, it was a ghost town. The mines dried up, there was no gold, and people just moved out. The buildings went to despair. Some of them were torn down for parts or moved. Just very interesting.
Yeah, just in a period of less than 5 years.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why we keep looking over this way, there's a sign here.
Yes, we're getting our information from the sign.
Right. We're not clairvoyant of all this, but we read the sign because figure maybe you guys won't make it here at some point, and we want to share.
And really, all that's left is parts of buildings.
Yeah. Well, typically in a ghost town.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I really see one whole building. But
Yeah.
we haven't walked through it yet, so we
Yep.
don't know what we'll discover.
Yep, we'll head up there next. This is the Tom Kelly Bottle House. This was built in 1907, and it's one of the few remaining bottle houses around. This house was built for a cost of about $2,500. There's over 50,000 bottles in here, and most of that cost was not for the bottles because he paid about 10 cents a wheelbarrow for kids to bring bottles, which was roughly about $3 today. But the cost, most of the cost was in the wood. Wood is very expensive here, was very expensive here in Nevada during the 1800s, and so other means of building homes were explored, like this house here where they built it out of cement and bottles. This is supposedly very cool in the summertime, warm in the winter, and the bottles let a lot of light into the house. This house has been featured in various movies and is really unique. One of the most interesting things about this is the builder, Tom Kelly, never lived in the house. He built it and then auctioned it off, selling tickets for, I forget what it was, but he ended up selling 400 tickets, but he ended up losing $500 on the cost of the house. So wasn't a money-making venture for him like he probably thought.
This is what remains of the second schoolhouse built in Rhyolite. The first schoolhouse was built in 1906, and that had about 26 students. By the end of the first year, there was approximately 225 students crammed into the small one-room house, and according to what is written, with that many students, the teacher had a nervous breakdown. So it was decided that they would build a bigger schoolhouse.
This is the Porter Brothers General Store. This was one of the most popular places in town, and it actually hired more people in town except for the mines. One of the reasons this store was so popular, especially at Christmas, is they had Christmas displays that rivaled the major department stores in big cities. This is what remains of the Overbury building. The Overbury building was a general purpose building that housed a dental office, a bank, and other businesses. When it was constructed, it was originally going to be a two-story building, and then expanded to three stories because the neighbors had already started construction on a three-story building.
This is what remains of the Cook Bank building. It's one of the most iconic buildings in Rhyolite and one of the most photographed in Nevada.
So this is the Rhyolite train station. This town grew so fast that 3 railroads actually started to service this town and built tracks out here. So they had a number of trains coming in and out of the town during the day. That led to the town deciding they needed to build a train station. So they built this train station, probably one of the most expensive buildings in the town. At the time it cost $130,000. Today it would be over $3 million. It took them 2 years to build the railroad station. By the time it was completed, more people were leaving town than coming in. So obviously they missed the boom by the time they finished this train station. It was very elaborate. There was segregated waiting rooms for the men and the women in here, and the ticket office was in the center. The railroad station also had a second life as a casino, and we reported that you could visit working women on the second story. Very unique and historic building. So I just want to point out, as we were walking around looking at the train station, we cut around the side of the building and we did see a sidewinder rattlesnake in the grass crossing our path. So be careful if you come out here. We We are at the Wild Rose Charcoal Kilns, and these kilns were built in 1877 to produce charcoal for the Modoc smelter, which produced silver and lead. Now these are probably considered to be some of the most well-preserved charcoal kilns in the country, mostly because of the remote location. We had to drive almost 30 miles to get to here off the main road, so it's way up here. These were only used for about 3 years, and then they were shut down. So they've got very little use on them. They were put here because all the wooded area around us had a good supply of wood to burn into charcoal. And the process would take about 3 or 4 days just to burn the wood down to charcoal, and then it would take another couple of days to cool off. So it's really kind of interesting. You can see here the holes along the bottom that would let the air into the fire, and they would chimney up to the top.
Yeah. Well, after that long drive and going the wrong way in the first place, it was pretty neat. They look like giant beehives.
And what did we see along the way?
Burrows. Quite a few. Probably, I don't know, 8, 9 burrows. Standing in, huh?
Yeah, they were blocking the road looking for their toll.
Right, including a couple babies, small burrows, so I'm sure they're the youngsters. But I'm sure people feed them as they come through, so that's why they stand in the road.
Yeah.
So we'll see them on the way back.
Yep.
So finally, after going on a 10-mile detour, we found the road that we were supposed to go on to visit these kilns. And after we visit them, we're on our way back down this gravel road, and the low tight pressure gauge comes on. Get out to find that our front left tire has some kind of a hole in it and is quickly losing air. So now Randy's in the process of changing the tire. So the tire is on, and now Randy is tightening up the lug nuts. So all the lug nuts are put on, and Randy's lowering the truck. The final step in changing the tire is after the truck has been lowered, then you completely tighten your lug nuts.
Now the one thing you're going to want to do is check the air in the tire when you get back to some place where you can do that. And if you have a torque wrench, which you probably should if you have a trailer, torque them. I think I'm tight enough now to get us back to the trailer and I'll torque them there. Because a new wheel like this will loosen up as you drive it. Where are we?
Zabriskie Point. I think that's how you say it. And we forgot our sticker.
Zabriskie Point is supposed to be a great place to visit at sunrise and sunset because of the way the light reflects off all the different landscape around here. Those of you who watch The Mandalorian on Disney Plus may recognize this landscape. It was used in one of the episodes. What'd you think of those views?
Oh, those were spectacular. So pretty. Yeah. It's a definite must stop and see on your trip to Death Valley. Right now we're at Dante's View, which has spectacular views of Death Valley.
We're here at Furnace Creek Ranch, and over here there's the what?
The Borax Museum.
Borax Museum, and it's free. We had the dogs with us, but there was an outside section that we were able to walk through and check out. It was pretty neat. We'll show you a little bit of video of that. But definitely add that to your list of things to stop and see.
Right, and we won't be able to go in because we do have the dogs, but it appears there's some type of a gift shop,
General store type thing.
general store, ice cream. There's
A restaurant.
Yeah, a restaurant. There is a hotel, and it looks like the hotel here has a swimming pool as well as
Well, I think there's a golf course and tennis courts.
or pickleball. I'm not quite sure
Right.
which it is.
Right.
But it's a nice little area, and right now we're sitting in a nice little park area, and there's plenty of shade and nice grass.
Yeah, very enjoyable. So after 3 days in Death Valley, any final thoughts?
It's hot.
Yep, it is definitely a hot place.
Well, you know, being here in May, it's hot.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been worth a visit.
Yeah, and you know, you need to do a few things, you know, to accommodate the heat. And then one of the things we did is we actually really started our days very early. Typically we got out about 7 o'clock before the heat really started getting up there, and then got back for the afternoon, and then found things to do in the afternoon that were cooler, like you know, car rides and such.
Right.
So that's one thing that we would recommend if you're coming here during a hot time.
Yeah. One of the nice things about this park, that most of the sites that you would want to see are close by the road, or you can just drive through or just drive up and look at. There's really very little walking.
Yeah, there doesn't have to be a lot of walking if you don't want. There are hiking trails and such. One thing to pay close attention to is your elevation. If you're in very, very low elevation, your heat is going to be a lot higher. But if you go to upper elevations, it drops considerably. I mean, we saw yesterday almost 30 degrees drop in temperature when we went to about 5,000 feet.
Right.
And there's hiking trails there, so you could go up to that elevation and hike.
Yes. And there is plenty to do. I mean, it would be really, really pushing it for one day. This is our third day here. We did see a couple things this morning. Unfortunately, one of the sites that we wanted to see was closed due to flooding.
Yeah.
And so that'll be something we'll have to come back and see at a later date.
So we saw a lot of interesting sights, and we have some favorites. What was yours?
Mine would be Zabrisky's Point.
Yeah, that was really stunning views and easy to get to. Just a short walk up a little bit of a hill, and it's well worth it. Badwater kind of stands out for me just because it's so unique. Also, the Devil's Golf Course was kind of neat.
Yes.
I like that.
That was pretty cool.
The charcoal kilns was okay. I mean, it was a lot of a drive to get to it. Of course, we took a couple wrong turns and this and that.
Right.
But it was a lot of drive, and then unfortunately we had the flat tire issue on that because of the gravel roads. So a couple things to keep in mind if you're doing that, especially any of the gravel roads. Make sure your tires are in good condition.
Right. But all in all, it was a great visit. We were fortunate enough to get a campsite at one of the campgrounds that is located probably central.
We stayed at stovepipe wells. There was a campground there. There's actually a couple campgrounds. There's a national parks campground that you can stay at that has no hookups. It's open during the winter months and late fall and early spring. And then there's the private campground that we stay at that have 14 sites that has full hookups.
Right. And it was a great location. And there is not only the campground, there's a general store, there's a bar saloon, there's a swimming pool, there is a hotel there if you don't camp that appeared to have quite a few rooms.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a nice location.
Yeah, we liked it. We would recommend it if you're coming out this way and staying. Well, we should wrap up this video.
Yep.
So if you like this video, what should they do, Diane?
Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, Zephyr Travels.
Hit the bell for notifications. We post new videos on a weekly basis. Love to have you guys follow along with our travels. And until the next time,
We will see all of you down the road.
see you guys. Our final stop here in Death Valley is going to be Mesquite Dunes. And we've been kind of saving this one for the end, mostly because it was something we could do on the way out. But it's pretty cool. We've been to White Sands and what was the other? A couple of sand dunes, a couple of national park sand
White
dunes.
Sands
White-
and that other one.
Yeah,
Wherever
that other
was.
one, yeah.
Where was that one?
But this one looks pretty cool, so we're gonna just go give it a quick check out. You lost in the desert?
Yeah.
Well, the sand dunes are pretty cool.
Yeah, they're kind of neat to see.
We're here early in the day and it's cooler, but it's still pretty warm. It'd be neat to hike out here, but not today.
No.
It's gonna get hot in a hurry.
If you want to do any kind of hiking, the best months would be December and January when the temperatures are the coolest. And by cool, I mean 60s and 70s,
Yeah,
if you find that cool.
right, and cool, and very cool in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already 90 here, and it's just gonna go up from there. This is the lower elevation area, so it's gonna be 110 this afternoon in this area. So if you come here, come here early, or just come and look out your window of your car with the air conditioning, because it's gonna be too hot to spend much time out there.
Right.
All right, well, we've got to get going. This is the very absolute end of the video, and we're leaving the park today and heading on to other adventures. So follow along.